Hello and welcome back to another video review, this time for Transformers. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like this, and please leave a comment below letting me know if you enjoyed the film. Thousands of years ago, the planet Cybertron was ravaged by a civil war between the Autobots, headed by Optimus Prime, and the Decepticons led by Megatron. The Autobots desire to uncover the Allspark, the source of all Cybertronian life, so they can use it to restore Cybertron and stop the Autobot-Decepticon conflict, while the Decepticons want to use it to defeat the Autobots and dominate the universe. Megatron discovered the Allspark on Earth, but crash-landed in the Arctic Circle and became encased in ice. In 1897, Captain Archibald Witwicky and his group of explorers discover Megatron's body. Captain Witwicky accidentally triggers Megatron's navigation system, imprinting the coordinates of the Allspark's position on his glasses. Sector 7, a covert US government unit, discovers the Allspark in the Colorado River and constructs the Hoover Dam around it to disguise its energy releases. The still frozen Megatron is sent to his laboratory and reverse engineered in order to enhance human technology. In the current day, the Decepticons, Blackout, Scorponok, Frenzy, Barricade, Starscream, Brawl, and Bone Crusher have come on Earth and disguised themselves as Earth vehicles, as well as setting up a conspiracy. Blackout and Scorponok launch an attack on the US SOCONT military installation in Qatar, attempting to hack into the US military network in order to locate Megatron and the Allspark. When the base crew cuts the network cable connections, their objective is foiled. Scorponok pursues a small number of survivors who have photographic evidence of the robots as Blackout destroys the remainder of the base, but he is finally repelled. During this battle, the military realizes that high-heat Sabot bullets are the only viable weaponry against the Transformers' armor. Frenzy infiltrates Air Force One when Blackout fails to get into the military network, planting a virus in the process. He discovers the map imprinted on Captain Witwicky's glasses, which his ancestor, Sam Witwicky, plans to sell on eBay. Frenzy and Barricade start looking for Sam. Bumblebee, an autonomous robotic organism, short for Autobot, is also on Earth, disguised as a 1976 Chevrolet Camaro, and is purchased by Sam when looking for his first car. Bumblebee assists him in wooing his crush, Michaela Baines. Sam notices Bumblebee in robot mode as he leaves at night to broadcast a homing signal to the rest of the Autobots. Barricade approaches Sam and wants Archibald's glasses, but Bumblebee comes to his rescue, along with Michaela. After Bumblebee upgrades his vehicle form by scanning a 2006 Chevrolet Camaro, they depart to meet the rest of the Autobots, including Optimus Prime, Jazz, Ironhide, and Ratchet, who have also landed on Earth and adopted the shapes of Earth vehicles. Sam, Michaela, and the Autobots go back to Sam's house to get the glasses. Soon after, Sector 7 special agents come and apprehend Sam, Michaela, and Bumblebee. Frenzy, disguised as a cell phone, stealthily joins the group at Hoover Dam and unleashes Megatron. Frenzy alerts the other Decepticons after locating the Allspark. Sam persuades Sector 7 agents to release Bumblebee so he may deliver the Allspark to Optimus Prime. Frenzy's virus has disrupted government communications, but two hackers are able to send a signal to the Air Force. The Autobot human convoy travels to adjacent Mission City in search of a radio that will lead the Air Force's defense and establish a meeting location as a safe destination for the Allspark. The Decepticons assault, killing Bone Crusher, Frenzy, Jazz, Brawl, and Blackout, but Sam manages to slam the Allspark into Megatron's chest, killing him and shattering the Allspark. Optimus extracts a piece of the Allspark from Megatron's body, but learns that without it, their homeworld Cybertron cannot be rebuilt. The US government decommissions Sector 7 and throws the vanquished Decepticons' remains into the Laterian Abyss. Starscream flees into space as Sam and Michaela develop a romance, and Optimus sends a signal to the remaining Autobots, leading them to Earth. The first character I will talk about is Sam, played by Shia LaBeouf. I gotta be honest here and say there's nothing really much to this character, even though he's the quote-unquote protagonist. All I see Sam is being the plot tool. What I mean is that the Autobots are looking for the Allspark to stop the Decepticons from destroying Earth, and it just so happens that it's all connected to Sam. I personally feel like he was used as a plot tool to just interject the humans into the story. Otherwise, he's a frantic character that I do admit sometimes is kind of funny, just because of how psychotic he seems to be. The next character I will talk about is Michaela, played by Megan Fox. Besides her being used for sex appeal in this movie, she actually did kind of have more of a role in this movie than Sam did. I don't know, it's just towards the end of the movie, she really helped in the fight against the Decepticons, because she helped Bumblebee fight them and actually took down a Decepticon. I know you can say that Sam ultimately killed Megatron, but honestly, without Michaela helping Bumblebee, I bet you the fight could have gone differently. Otherwise, the only thing we learn about this character is that her father is a felon, but that's really it, and we don't see anything else about her, so she seems very one-dimensional. The next thing I will talk about are just the Autobots instead of just talking about them individually, because it's easier that way. I liked all of them, especially Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. I like Bumblebee because he seems like a chill dude who knows how to fight, and I like Optimus Prime because of the way he talks and how he presents himself. We didn't really get much from the other Autobots, and I really wish we got more time with them, and it was unfortunate that Jazz really didn't last long at all, and I wish we got more out of him because he seemed like a cool character as well. I personally really like the Decepticons because they just love destruction and their voices sounded cool. I also really like Barricade because he was so aggressive and was just so cool. I especially love his tagline, and that's to punish and enslave, which I find really cool. I really like the CGI in this movie. I still can't believe that this movie was released in 2007, because the CGI for this movie is on the next level. Even by today's standards, it's really well done. I cannot imagine the amount of time it took for the VFX artists to create these characters. I just can't believe that the CGI was so well done, especially now that you see what Marvel is releasing nowadays with their CGI. It's quite amazing to think that the CGI from 2007 seems to look better than what it is in 2022. I cannot get over how good the action is in this movie. You can really tell there was a lot of care that went into this movie and into the action, especially because it was really entertaining. Yes, some of it seemed very cheesy, but in another way, it just seems so cool to see giant robots just fight each other and destroy things. I also like the added realism of a camera being shaky. I know a lot of people don't like it when the camera shakes, but in my opinion, it just adds to the realism of the movie. I bet you that a lot of the camera shakiness was due to the fact that they didn't want us to see the mistakes in animation, because you have to remember, it was 2007, so they had to cut corners, I'd assume. The humor was surprisingly well done in this movie, and I kind of was surprised by that. Admittedly, it was stupid humor, but it wasn't overbearing to the overall story, and it didn't destroy any serious moments, but it added some lightheartedness to the movie overall, and I'm glad that they had the humor. That was also well timed. I have to say that this movie was too long. There's this running meme that in the Michael Bay Transformers movies, that they were just basically giant ads. It honestly was quite distracting at points during this movie, and the reason why this is part of the movie being too long is because you can clearly tell some of the scenes were added just to sell the car or product. It got distracting at certain points because it added unnecessary scenes to the movie that could have easily been cut out. There are other reasons why this movie was too long for me, but we'll get a little more into that soon. For me, at least 45 minutes of this movie could have been cut out, because 2.5 hours for this movie is a bit much. This perfectly segues into my next complaint, and that is the fact that we are more involved with the humans than the Transformers themselves. I get it, we need to have some drama or something, but do we have to have it with humans? This movie is called Transformers, not Humans, Dawn of Transformers. That title would have actually made more sense, because we get a hell of a lot more screen time with the humans than we do with the actual Transformers. Like, it's what I mentioned in my review for Bumblebee. I don't care what the humans are doing, I only care about what the Transformers are doing. I will admit that the Transformers storyline and the human storyline do intertwine quite well in this movie, but I just would have rather have seen more Transformers than humans. We could have had more scenes on Cybertron, could have seen more of what the Decepticons were planning, and there was just so much they could have done with the Transformers that they decided not to. This one's a minor issue, but it wasn't a huge one, but I just noticed it. What I noticed was the fact that some of the scenes didn't match up together. They matched up story-wise, but action-wise it did not. What I mean by this is the fact that in one scene, Bone Crusher was driving down the highway, and he ran through a bus, which was really awesome to see. But then in the next scene, we see him and Optimus Prime fighting over a highway overpass. From what I remember, in the first part of that scene, there were no highway overpasses in sight. And then in the second scene, there were highway overpasses everywhere. It didn't happen very often, but when it did happen, it was very noticeable. The final issue with this movie was the end. So in the end, there was this giant battle in Los Angeles, and that was because they had to hide the Allspark in the middle of the city for some reason. Here's my issue. For some ungodly reason, the military thought that the safest place for the Allspark, being hunted down by an unknown amount of enemies, should be safest in the middle of a city with a population of over 30 million people. I guess you could say, well, they could have just evacuated the city. But no, they didn't even do that. I know this is a movie and it's science fiction, but it does not make any sense as to why you would put over 30 million people in danger because you thought a secret alien technology would be safe there. I just thought that was really dumb, because they could have brought it somewhere else, like in the middle of nowhere, and set up a military base, but no, let's put 30 million people in danger. So in the end, what would I rate Transformers? Well, I thought the Transformers were all really cool, and the action was very well done, but the boring parts of the movie being overwhelmed by the human storylines, as well as not having the Transformers as much as the humans, I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10. I will admit this movie is a guilty pleasure, and it really does bring back a lot of memories, but when I see it from a reviewer standpoint, there were a lot of things off about this movie. Anyways guys, let me know in the comments section below whether you like Transformers or not. And please leave a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more reviews like this. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you in the next review.